When you go to sleep at night, you move through a series of stages. Stage 1 transitions you from being awake and drops you into stage 2. Then you move from stage 2 to slow wave sleep, and then back to stage 2, and then into REM sleep. And you continue to cycle through these stages multiple times throughout the night, always passing through stage 2 before entering into either of the other stages. Stage 2 sleep is critical for restoring mental alertness and consolidating memories. Slow wave sleep provides physical healing, repairs tissues and organs, reverses the effects of stress, and helps with long-term memory formation. And REM promotes higher order thinking and integrates our experiences by creating new neural pathways. Typically, 60% of your night is spent in stage 2 sleep, and the rest of the night is split between the other 2 stages. Now let's say you went to bed at 11 o'clock at night and slept straight through till 7 a.m. If we were to examine your brain activity throughout the night, we'd notice that earlier cycles had greater concentration of slow wave sleep, and that the later cycles have greater concentration of REM sleep. And if going to bed around 11 and waking up around 7 is typical for you, then your body is sort of accustomed to this sleep pattern, and it actually comes to expect it. And that's important, because when you're awake, these cycles keep on going. That's because your body experiences what I call shadow cycles. It sounds creepy, but in fact, understanding these shadow sleep cycles is the key to unlocking the secret powers of naps. It starts by understanding sleep pressure. From the moment you wake up, your body slowly builds the urge to go back to sleep. That urge is known as sleep pressure, and it is your body's way of asking, or perhaps demanding, more of that reparative slow wave sleep. The longer you hold out on sleep, the greater your sleep pressure gets, the more tired you feel, and the less functional you become. So when you wake up at 7, your need for slow wave sleep is at its lowest. And as you move through the day, that need intensifies. And by the time you go back to sleep at 11 again, your sleep pressure is pushing the red line. So while your sleep pressure is tied to how long it's been since you last got slow wave sleep, REM sleep is more like a tide, and it ebbs and flows according to your circadian rhythm, which is your internal clock that regulates your 24-hour day. Sleep cycles typically contain the lowest amount of REM sleep at 9 p.m., with the percentage steadily increasing until 9 a.m., and it falls again until it reaches 9 p.m. If you work the night shift or just live with non-standard hours, your personal rhythm might be a little different than this. But the point is that it ebbs and flows around the 24-hour clock. Why does this matter? Well, as we know, your ability to perform any task is subject to a similar trend, with greater ability at the beginning of the task, followed by progression towards worse and worse performance. This is true even if you got a good night's sleep. It's even more true if you've got a bad night's sleep. And as I've shown, there's strong evidence to show that taking a short nap can stop the decline, and taking a longer nap can actually reverse it. Where it gets really interesting, though, is when we take into account timing and duration of the nap. Because when we nap, and for how long, can have a profound effect on what we get out of it. First, let's talk about the ideal nap. For most people, the ideal nap is the one that gives you the best of all worlds, a good dose of stage 2 sleep, and an even mix of slow wave sleep and REM sleep. If we take our graph of sleep pressure and lay it on top of our graph of our shadow REM cycle, you'll notice a nifty little intersection right between 1 and 3 in the afternoon. Now, it typically takes about 90 minutes to get through an entire sleep cycle. So assuming you woke up around 7, then the ideal nap would start sometime close to 1 o'clock and last 90 minutes. The ideal nap isn't always realistic for everyone, so let's talk about some alternatives. Stage 2 sleep is the transitional element between other stages. But what's really important to know is when you first go to sleep, stage 2 lasts for about 17 minutes. So if it takes about 2 to 3 minutes to get to stage 1 and 17 minutes for stage 2, then a 20-minute nap will be almost all stage 2. And I'm sure you've heard the term power nap. And a stage 2 nap is just that. It can make you feel more alert and stop performance decline in its tracks. In fact, when people say they don't have time to nap, it doesn't take long for me to find 20 minutes in their day when they could sneak in a power nap. Often it's the 20 minutes they take going on a coffee run. Now you might say, if 20 minutes is good, how about 25? And this is where things get dicey. And that's because of another phenomenon known as sleep inertia. After those 17 minutes of stage 2 are up, you move into slow wave sleep. And as you know, slow wave sleep is a deep, dark, heavy place. If you're way down deep in slow wave sleep, if something wakes you up, you'll feel even more wrecked than you did before you laid down in the first place. It is very hard for your brain to prematurely pull itself out of slow wave sleep. It is much better to wake up in stage 2, or REM sleep. In fact, when people tell me they don't nap because it makes them feel more tired, I'm pretty confident it's because they're timing their wake-ups to coincide with slow wave sleep. And that can do a number on you, and it can take hours to recover. Of course, there's a pretty simple remedy. First, you can plan to sleep 20 minutes or less. But if you wake up with that groggy feeling, go back to sleep for 20 minutes until you're back in stage 2 and wake up then. So what's really cool about all of this is that now that you understand the different sleep stages and what they can do for you, and now that you understand the shadow cycle and which times in the day more heavily favor one stage over the other, you can actually strategically time your nap to achieve specific benefits. Say you're struggling with a creative challenge, or you're writing a book, or you're just looking for inspiration. REM sleep is what you want. And a nap in the morning is going to give you more REM sleep than a nap in the afternoon. But if you're feeling run down physically and mentally, then a good jolt of slow wave sleep is in order, and a late afternoon nap will provide more of that. And if you just want a burst of energy and only have a few minutes to spare, opt for a stage 2 power nap any time of the day and rest your eyes for 20 minutes. Again, if you experience ongoing symptoms of fatigue, a talk with your doctor is a good idea. So once you get really savvy, you can start to customize your naps. For example, what if you really want extra REM sleep, but you work in the morning and your schedule really only allows for a late afternoon nap that has limited REM? That's okay. Just add an extra half hour to your nap and you'll get a few minutes of REM tagged on to the end. And the same thing can be achieved to get more slow wave sleep in the morning nap. Now, whenever I teach these concepts, I know I'm going to get a few different reactions. There are going to be those people who continue to hold firm that napping isn't for them. That's fine. While I do recommend they give at least a 10 to 15 minute nap a go, I won't lose sleep over those people. There are going to be those people who want to understand this deeper, which is exactly what we're going to do in the next lesson. And then there are going to be those people who look at their watches and say, hey, I should be napping. If that's you, sleep tight. See you in the next lesson.